Today I have a haul video for you. So I have had grand plans in every month this year, January, February, and technically as well for March, but I have not managed to keep up with the amount of grand plans that I have made. So I have decided that there are going to be new projects in March, but March is also going to be my catch-up month. Now, unfortunately, I did manage to catch the panini for the second time. It was a much milder dose this time around, but it did kick my butt for almost 2 weeks. So I am filming this on the 9th of March, so there's not a lot of March left. I mean, well, there's 2/3 of March left. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. I have 3 projects here, and then I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 projects that are 5 projects that are needing to be finished, cut out, and 6 projects that need to be finished in March as well. So I'm going to run through those really quickly for you. Hemispheric coat and scout capelet. I have traced the patterns, I have made the muslins. I need to make a very minor tweak to the hemispheric coat muslin, then I can get that cut out of my navy wool, my beautiful navy and green leafy satin that Rachel gave me for Christmas, and the faux fur that I want to trim the capelet with. The actual sewing process of that should be pretty quick. I have all of the stuff, just need to get it cut out and get it done. I'm thinking that's probably going to be a 2-day project. A coat and a cape in 2 days, possibly 3, but that's one of them. I have my Carolyn pajamas that are supposed to be my Christmas pajamas that the Patreon peeps voted for. They are altered, cut out and ready to go, so I just need to get those sewn. Again, should be a 2-day project, possibly a day project if I start early enough in the day. We shall see. I have got my McCall's 7537 dress cut out of the red Guthrie and Ghani fabric that I bought earlier this year. I have actually lost quite a bit of weight since I cut that out, and I've tried my other ones on and they're quite big for me. So I'm going to make some minor tweaks to the midriff panels so that this one fits me better at my current weight. The skirt is going to be a tiered and gathered skirt, so that's going to be really easy to adjust to fit into that waist. It's only the midriff panel that I need to change, so that's good. I also have my Rita blouse that I need to trace, muslin and test out, and I have 3 fabrics ready for that. I've got leftover poplin from the pajamas, the striped one with strawberries on it. I've got the mini Carline roses from Liberty, and then I've also got the beautiful viscose that Anna gave me for the bishop sleeve version of the Rita blouse. Now, everyone's telling me how quick the Rita blouse is, so I'm thinking that's probably going to be a 2-day project as well to get all 3 of those tops done. That is the plan. We shall see how that works out. And I also have my red cotton sateen and cotton latex stretchy holographic fabric wiggle dress cut out, ready to be sewn, and that should be a day's project. It's a long day, but it should be a day's project. Done all the hard work, I've drafted the pattern, added seam allowance, got everything cut out. Now I just need to piece it all together, and I'm really excited about that one. So those are the outstanding projects that I would like to get finished in March, and that's going to be like the March catch-up thing. And then I have a pile of projects next to me here that I would like to get to in March as well. Now, the Patreon peeps were very kind and they voted for the night and day dress. I gave them a choice of 3 of the Gertie dresses that I want to get done, 2 of which had a lot more going on in them, and they were very kind and they picked this one. Now, specifically they picked or the comments were for this wiggle dress with the trumpet skirt on it. I had picked out this Dolce & Gabbana red rose fabric that I've had in my stash for a very long time. I bought it from Stitch Fabrics at one of the shows. This is a heavyweight cotton and it is absolutely glorious. I have 5 meters of this. I don't want to make a wiggle dress out of it. I want to make a full skirted dress out of it. Now, as I've mentioned, I think a couple of times, I have lost a little bit of weight, and I have gone through the boxes of clothing that I put away a couple of years ago that were all too small for me, and I've tried them on again, and my grace dress now fits me perfectly again. I know you guys have seen a lot of grace dresses, but I really want to make this into a grace dress, and I want to then use the New Look bolero pattern to make a little jacket to go over the top of it. I think it's going to look really, really cute together. I really like the idea of this being a square necked bodice from the night and day dress, but I think because of the print and the fabric, to me this fabric reads a little bit more evening-y in the grace dress, because it's a much more cleavage-tastic dress. With the little bolero, I think I could probably wear it during the day, but I have, as I say, 5 meters, and I know I can get that dress and the bolero out of that amount of fabric. So please forgive me, but this is not going to be a night and day dress. It's going to be a KB grace dress with a little bolero, and it's going to be immense. I'm really looking forward to having this finally made up. Having said all that, I'm still going to try and do the night and day dress this month, and I'm going to try and please my patrons and do the trumpet skirt with the square neckline, and I'm probably not going to do the short sleeves that they've got on the pattern because I am not a huge fan of that. I'm going to try and do the little cap sleeves that I did on the red silk dress that I rescued in December last year. I really like those little sleeves. The ones that I put on the red silk dress do need some tweaking because they were slightly restrictive, although I haven't tried that one since I've lost weight, so it might fit better now. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I have this fabric that my best friend bought me for my birthday from Truro Fabrics a couple of years ago. Probably 6 years ago actually. This has some stretch in it, and I have 2 meters of it, so according to the instructions in this booklet I should have enough fabric to cut out the trumpet skirt, square neck bodice, and then some tiny little sleeves to go over the top of it, and I think that's going to look amazing. I love this fabric. It's a really large print and there are a lot of seam lines in the skirt, so I'm hoping it's going to work. I think it is. I think it's going to look really cool. But yeah, that's what I'm planning on making my night and day dress out of, and hopefully that will make the Patreon peeps happy, because as I say, my initial plan was for a large skirted one and everyone seemed to be wanting me to do the wiggle skirted one. So that is the March project as voted for by the Patreon peeps. Now, March is going to be corset month. I have done, as you guys know, a video about all the projects that I want to do this year. This is my year of projects that scare me, and a corset is one of those. I have spent the last couple of weeks in bed researching. Panini was good for something. I also spent it shopping and talking to boys, but yeah, I have been researching and I found Corsets by Caroline, and she does a custom corset pattern for you. You pick one of her styles. Not all of her styles are available in this service, but most of them are. You pick one of her styles and give her your measurements, and she will custom draft a corset pattern that should theoretically fit you, not necessarily perfectly, but it should save you on some toile time. It is expensive. I bought this through her website. It's a boy. I bought this through her website rather than through Etsy, and it cost me £60. This also included the standard Betty corset. That's the style that I went for, in the kind of like multiple sizes, because that had the instructions with it, and also a corset making best practice book as well. Caroline also says that I obviously need to make a toile. Any fit changes that I make to the toile to let her know, and she will add them to the corset pattern for me and send me an updated version. I genuinely think that that is an amazing service. I was expecting the pattern to take a while to be drafted for me. It was done in less than 24 hours. I am amazed about the service I've had so far. I obviously haven't made the pattern up yet. I have been onto Vina Cava, and I have a giant box of goodies, including new tools. I'm gonna need a toolbox for down here, because seriously, I have like a bag of like heavy duty tools. I didn't buy the heaviest duty wire cutter for the spiral steel boning, because it sort of said, oh, if you're cutting spiral steel boning every day of the week, you're going to need this tool. And I was like, how many corsets am I going to make? But we all know how I can get addicted to things, so there could be a lot of corsets getting made. I have in this box enough to make 2, and I actually have another set of things coming to make a 3rd one, because I ordered the coutil from Vina Cava, and it was the basic herringbone coutil. This stuff is stiff, and I ordered it in black and white, and this is what arrived. So I messaged them and I just said, thank you so, because I've been a total nightmare. I'd forgotten that I needed I bought spiral steel boning for the majority of the corset, then forgot that I needed flat steel boning for either side of the eyelets at the back. I went back and placed a second order, then I messaged them and I was like, is there any chance you could combine them, save you on packaging, me on postage? And they were like, yes, of course. I was like, great. And then I was like, I've also realised that I've only ordered 4 flat steel bones for the back, and I'm making 2 corsets, so I actually need 8, so could you double that for me? And they're like, yeah, of course. So they were really, really great. This is Vina Caver again. I bought my tailor's anvil from them before. I highly recommend them. I was being a nightmare customer, and this arrived, and as I say, I ordered black and white. I had nude in my basket, but I took it out because I was like, no, let's be sensible. Let's get enough to make 2 corsets. So when this arrived, I messaged them and I was like, ooh, there's been an error because I've got black and white lacing. And they were like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. No problem at all. We'll send you out the black. When you order from us next time, just remind us not to charge you. And I was like, that's so kind of you. But no, I think what I'm actually going to do is order enough stuff to make a black corset as well. So I'll order the black, and if you could just send that out to me, that would be great, you know. And they were like, yeah, no problem. I'm gonna have enough stuff to make 3 corsets. In fact, I've ordered 2 meters of the black because I have a feeling that I'm going to be making a white, nude and black corset, and they're going to be single layer corsets to test the fit, to toile it, and hopefully by the 3rd one of these it should be perfect. Then I'm going to want to make a fancy corset. So at the very least, I know my butterfly dress is going to need a corset underneath of it, so the black couture will be great for that. As I've mentioned, if this goes well and if I get a corset that fits me as well as I think I'm going to from this pattern, you guys could be seeing a lot of corsets in your future, a lot of corsets in my future. The measurements that I provided, if I'd been buying the regular pattern, it would have been for a corset that laced down to 22 inches at the waist, which is a 4-inch reduction on my waist, which sounds really, really extreme. So I did have the option with the custom corset to give the type of reduction that I was looking for at the waist. Because all of the other patterns kind of had this 4-inch reduction, that's what I said. I've gone for a 1-inch lacing gap at the back as opposed to a 2-inch lacing gap though. So I'm thinking I can kind of cheat it a little bit and sort of see how that kind of, I don't know. I've never made a corset before, so it's going to be a steep learning curve and it's going to be an interesting experience. I've just thrown my waist tape onto, this is Prussian tape I think, and it's going to be used for waist tape. Throwing that on the floor. So yeah, I have a whole giant box of goodies that's arrived, and I'm really excited about the whole process. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. As I mentioned, Corsets by Caroline does this service for majority of her corset patterns. There's a few that she doesn't, one of which is the heart shape or the petal bust corset, which is actually one that I think would look amazing for my butterfly gown. So it's an advanced corset as is. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fudge it. We shall see. I might be able to achieve the kind of look that I want with the corsets that I'm using, you know, the kind of like overbust corsets that I'm using. I also have a feeling that I'm going to want to do really decorative ones. I'm going to want to do underbust corsets. There's another one called the Lucille, which has like a U shape at the front. And she did say for a larger bust it can end up with quite a lot of spillage, as she put it. It might not be appropriate for my bust size, but it's another one that's just like, I really want to try it. There's a Instagram account called Retrofoley, I think that's the name of it. I think she had she does have a YouTube channel as well, but she doesn't post on either very often. But she's made some amazing corsets with really interesting necklines. I'm just like, I want to try all the things. I want to try all of the things. I have also bought the bits and pieces to make one of these. Now this might look ridiculous and obviously will never actually make it to the channel as a worn item because I get demonetized immediately. But Yves Le Louvre has this pattern for a harness. I just thought it would be an interesting way of kind of like easing myself into lingerie making. I've seen so many of them on Instagram and Pinterest, sorry. If you go to my lingerie board on Pinterest, it's full of these kind of things because I think they're stunning as works of art. I mean, obviously not to be worn out in public. But yeah, as works of art. So I've actually also bought all the bits and pieces to try and make this Evie Lelouve harness with some of the floral applique that I happen to get in my advent calendar and already have as well. So that is another project that's probably not going to take an entire day, because it looks, having read the instructions, it looks quite easy. But again, this is what being trapped in bed for the last 2 weeks has done to me. I've just been down corset rabbit hole. I mean, again, if you look at my corset board on Pinterest, so many beautiful ones. So yeah, it's going to be a month of experimentation and hopefully catching up with myself and getting to the point that I can start April with a clean slate. And you know, like, I'm not mad at myself that I haven't got any of these projects done. Like, they're all going to get done eventually. But yeah, I would like to start April with a, I'm going to be doing this. And I think in April I would like to tackle some of the more difficult charm dresses like the Liz and the Lana. I also think that if I have a well-fitting corset that I've seasoned well and is comfortable to wear at whatever waist reduction I decide to lace it to, I think that wearing those under the corset, no, over the corset, I think that will help enhance those dresses as well. I think it will look amazing. So that's the kind of thought process behind getting the corsets done this month, to then move on to some of the more elaborate dresses, to finally build up the courage to actually start tackling the butterfly dress. The dressmakers ball has not been announced date-wise for this year yet, so I don't know when it's going to be. If they're going to do it, I really hope they do, because I really want to make that dress. And I mean, I'm going to make the dress anyway, but I really want to wear that dress out in public. I'm excited. I'm excited by all of this month's projects. I think it's going to be really cool. Let me know in the comment section down below which one you are looking forward to seeing made up most. I can't decide. I think it is going to be the corsets, in all honesty. I think the entire process is going to be interesting. I think I am going to thoroughly enjoy it, and it's going to be really interesting seeing the results. If you've enjoyed this video, you might want to check out these plans here.